Let me tell you something right out the gate. If you want to be like everyone else, you better get comfortable being average. You better get comfortable living a life that's predictable, safe, and small. Because the 99%, they play it safe. They take the easy road, and they wonder why they never get anywhere. I'm not here to sugarcoat it. Most people will never be successful. Not because they can't, not because they weren't born with talent, but because they quit the second it gets hard. Because they're addicted to comfort. Because they care more about fitting in than standing out. You ever notice how everyone talks big when it's easy? Oh yeah, I'm gonna start that business. I'm gonna get in shape this year. I'm gonna change my life. But the moment it gets cold, the moment it gets lonely, the moment it stops being fun, they tap out. They run back to the warm blanket of mediocrity. And here's the truth, that's why the 1% exist. That's why there's only a handful of people at the top. Because the rest, they just don't want it bad enough. I don't care what your background is. I don't care if you're broke, if you're tired, if you've been counted out. The moment you decide you're not going to live like the majority, you've already separated yourself. But separation ain't enough, because the 1%, they don't just separate, they dominate. They go past the point where everyone else quits. They push through pain so bad it makes normal people puke, just thinking about it. While the 99% are still asleep, the 1% are already working. While the 99% complain, the 1% execute. While the 99% look for shortcuts, the 1% take the hard road and turn it into a damn highway. You think I'm special? I'm not. I'm just willing to do the things that make everyone else uncomfortable. And that's the only reason I'm standing here telling you this. So if you want to be in that 1%, stop asking how to be successful and start asking yourself, am I willing to do what 99% of people refuse to do? Here's what most people don't get. The 1% aren't lucky. They're not gifted. They're not sitting on some magic formula. They're built through pain, built through discipline so extreme, it would break the average person in a week. You know what the 99% hate? They hate discomfort. They hate being tired. They hate being told no. So they avoid all of it. And then they wonder why their life never changes. But the 1%, they hunt discomfort. They put themselves in situations that break them down, and then they rebuild stronger. They don't run from the storm. They run into it. You want to know the difference? The 99% want applause. The 1% want results. The 99% want quick wins. The 1% want a legacy. While they're out there scrolling on their phone for the next dopamine hit, you're out there running miles in the rain. While they're talking about someday, you're bleeding for it today. I've seen it too many times. The moment it hurts, the majority drop out. And you know what's crazy? That's the exact moment the 1% are just getting started. Because pain is the barrier. It's the filter. It's the wall that separates those who want it from those who need it. And the 1%, they need it. They feed on it. They let pain turn them into something unrecognizable. Not to the world, but to themselves. So if you want to stand with that 1%, stop chasing comfort like it's the goal. Stop trying to look like everyone else, act like everyone else, live like everyone else, and then expecting a different outcome. You can't copy the 99% and end up in the 1%. That's not how it works. I'm gonna be real with you. If you want to stay in the 99%, keep doing what you're doing. Sleep in, complain, blame the economy, your boss, your parents, your past. Wait for someone to rescue you. But if you want to join the 1%, you're gonna have to become a different animal. That means no more excuses, no more shortcuts, no more waiting until you feel ready. You're never gonna feel ready. You think I wanted to run on broken legs? You think I wanted to work out at 4 a.m. after sleeping 2 hours? Hell no. But I did it anyway. Because the 1% don't move based on feelings. They move based on mission. And here's something the 99% will never understand. Your competition isn't out there. It's in the mirror. That's the person you have to beat every single day. When the alarm goes off and your mind says, stay in bed, it's too early, that's the fight. When it's freezing outside and your body says, skip the run today, that's the fight. When life punches you in the face and whispers, you've done enough, take it easy, that's the fight. The 99% lose that fight every day. The 1% win it over and over until it becomes who they are. And here's the punchline. The 1% aren't superhuman. They've just built the discipline to do what sucks, to do what hurts, to do what scares them every single day. So ask yourself right now, do you want to blend in or do you want to stand alone at the top? Because you can't have both. You want the truth? Being in the 1% is not glamorous. It's lonely. It's brutal. It's waking up when the world is asleep and wondering if you've lost your mind. It's bleeding, limping, grinding, with nobody there to clap for you, nobody there to tell you you're doing great. The 99% need validation. The 1%, they create their own. There's no crowd at 4 a.m. There's no medal for doing the work in the dark. The prize is who you become in the process. And here's what separates the real from the fake. The 1% don't do it for Instagram. They don't do it for likes. They don't do it for approval. They do it because it's non-negotiable. You think you can cheat the system? You can't. You can fake the look, you can fake the talk. But when it's game time, when the pressure hits, when the pain comes, the truth shows up. And the truth is, most people are tourists in the land of hard work. They visit when it's sunny. They run when the storm comes. But the 1%, they live there. They pitch a tent in the middle of the storm. And they stay until they own it. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 30 days, do something every single day that the 99% would avoid. Run in the cold, lift when you're tired, study when your brain says enough, and don't tell anybody. Do it in silence. Do it for you, because if you can learn to show up with no applause, you're already ahead of 99% of the world. Let me leave you with this. The world is full of people who almost made it, almost got in shape, to almost start that business, almost broke free from the life they hate, almost. The 99% die with almost written all over their lives. And they tell themselves it's fine, that at least they tried. But the truth, they quit when it got hard. They chose comfort over greatness. The 1%, they bury almost, they bury it under a pile of sweat, sacrifice, and relentless action. They don't stop when they're tired. They stop when they're done. You want to know the real reason the 1% succeed? It's not because they're special. It's because they refuse to live like everyone else. They refuse to think like everyone else. They refuse to quit like everyone else. So here's your decision. Stay with the crowd where it's safe, easy, and average, or step into the fire alone and forge yourself into something unbreakable. I'm telling you right now, you don't get another shot at this life. And if you wasted trying to fit in, trying to please the 99%, you will regret it every single day you wake up. So don't be like them. Be the one they talk about when you're not in the room. Be the example they can't ignore. Be the storm they can't survive. Because the world doesn't remember the ones who followed the rules. It remembers the ones who wrote their own. Now get out there and make damn sure you're never ever like everyone else.